This is the Bili or Bondo ape. You've probably heard many accounts from clips about these creatures, like the one from our famous friend here.
They're sure that's a real thing.
Really?
Yeah, they've got skulls and hair samples and photographs and video. And for people who don't know what we're talking about, it's a gigantic chimpanzee.
Right.
Like a 6-foot-tall chimpanzee. The locals have two different names for chimps. They call them tree beaters and lion killers.
Huh.
And the tree beaters are the ones that are up in the trees, the smaller chimps.
Sure.
And the lion killers are these big ones.
That's enough of that, Joey. But what are these huge, massive apes? Do they even exist? Where are they? And do they really kill lions? In the depths of the impenetrable and very dense Congo rainforest, it's said that a population of savage giant apes rule supreme. Their location at the center of one of the bloodiest conflicts on the planet, the civil war in the Democratic Republic of Congo, has meant that the mystery apes have been little studied by scientists. Known as the Bondo ape or Bili ape, accounts of these creatures suggest they walk on 2 feet, stand the size of a grown man, with reports saying up to 6 feet tall, howl like a wolf towards the moon, and nest on the ground like gorillas. It also said that they are ferociously aggressive and have picked up a reputation for being lion killers. So is this a new, unknown species of apes to mankind? Or could this even be a hybrid of gorillas and chimpanzees? One of the first scientific efforts to track down the mystery ape was made by Carl Ammon, a Swiss-Kenyan photographer and conservationist in 1996. He came across a number of skulls held at the Royal Museum for Central Africa in Belgium. They had been collected by Belgian colonizers near the town of Bili in the Northern Democratic Republic of Congo, about 200 kilometers or 124 miles east of the Ebola River. The skulls featured a rather large mohawk ridge down the center, just like a gorilla, and as such were classified as gorillas. But something was off. Other aspects of the skull's shape and size were more comparable to a chimpanzee. Plus, there were no known gorilla populations living in the region where they were collected. Suspecting he might be on the verge of a new discovery, Ammon ventured to the northern regions of the DRC. There, he spoke to local hunters who told him about sightings of giant apes who killed lions and were seemingly immune to poisonous darts. Creepily, these strange beasts were also said to howl at the full moon. He also bought photographs from locals, showing people posing with the hulking bodies of massive apes they had hunted. Although his mission managed to document some extremely large chimp poop and casts of footprints larger than a gorilla's, there was no conclusive proof of the Bili ape from his expedition. Another quest to identify the mystery ape came in the summers of 2002 and 2003. One of the researchers on the expedition was Dr. Shelley Williams, who purportedly returned from the trip to the DRC and gave interviews to the media. This resulted in a number of mainstream publications like CNN, the Associated Press and National Geographic reporting sensational articles about the Bondo apes.
The larger animal had a much flatter face and straight across brow like gorillas, and turned grey early in life. 2 or 3 would nest on the ground, with others low in nearby branches. They made a distinct vocalization like a howl and were louder when the full moon rose and set.
The apes, she argues, could be a new species unknown to science, a new subspecies of chimpanzee or a hybrid of the gorilla and the chimp. People starting doubting these odd claims, but the expedition that followed changed everyone's opinion. The most detailed and recent data comes from Cleve Hicks at the University of Amsterdam, who has spent 18 months in the field watching the Bili apes since 2004. His team's most striking find came after one of his trackers heard chimps calling for several days from the same spot. When he investigated, he came across a chimp feasting on the carcass of a leopard. Mr. Hicks cannot be sure the animal was killed by the chimp, but the find lends credence to the ape's lion-eating reputation.
What we have found is this completely new chimpanzee culture,
said Mr. Hicks. Previously, researchers had only managed to snatch glimpses of the animals or take photos of them using camera traps. But Mr. Hicks used local knowledge to get closer to them and photograph them.
We were told of this sort of fabled land out west by one of our trackers who goes out there to fish. I call it the Magic Forest. It is a very special place.
Getting there means a grueling 25-mile for my European friends 40-kilometer trek through the jungle. This is from the nearest road, not to mention navigating croc-infested rivers and other tough terrain. But when he arrived, he found apes without their normal fear of humans. Normally, chimps near the road flee immediately at the sight of people because they know the consequences of a hunter's rifle. But these animals were happy to approach him. Cleve Hicks said the animals also have what he calls a smashing culture, a blunt but effective way of solving problems. He has found hundreds of snails and hard-shelled fruits smashed for food, seen chimps carrying termite mounds to rocks to break them open, and also found a turtle that was almost certainly smashed apart by chimps. Like chimp populations in other parts of Africa, the Bili chimps use sticks to fish for ants, but here the tools are up to 2.5 meters long, again, showing how much bigger these apes actually are than the usually chimps.
How can they get away with sleeping on the ground when there are lions, leopards, golden cats around, as well as other dangerous animals like elephants and buffalo? I don't like to paint them as being more aggressive, but maybe they prey on some of these predators and the predators kind of leave them alone,
he added, again partially supporting the idea of their reputation as lion killers. Mr. Hicks reports that he found a unique chimp culture. For example, unlike their cousins in other parts of Africa, the chimps regularly bed down for the night in nests on the ground. Around a fifth of the nests he found were rather on the ground than in the trees. The ground nests were very big and there was obviously something very unusual going on there. However, their future is far from secure. Things are not promising. The absence of a strong central government has resulted in most of the region becoming more independent and lawless. In conservation terms, this is a disaster. But wait, this means we might never find out the truth about these apes, or do we know it now?